Alright, we're going to take up with part 2 of making a cavalry holster. This one's going to be dyeing it. So what I've got here in this bin is a bunch of walnut hull dye. So I boiled a bunch of walnut skins down and strained them, and this is the leftovers. So we're just going to completely immerse this entire thing in here and hold it down under there for a little while. You can see a bunch of bubbles coming up. So we'll just hold that down and let it soak into the fibers real good. Flip it over. Maybe. Hold it down again. You want those fibers to completely soak up and the bubbles to quit coming up, which I push down, there's still quite a few bubbles. I want it to get good and soaked. I'm going to be wet forming it with the, well, it's wet with the dye. So that's good and wet. Right. Looks like I got pretty good coverage. Soak it one more time on each side just to make sure. Definitely want to wear gloves and old clothes when you're doing this, because this stuff will dye your clothing too. Work that in, and I get my contour wet form to it a little. One other thing that I want to do, I'm going to kind of roll the throat out a little, make it easier to reholster. Kind of flip that up so when you go to flip it out, you're not trying to find that. So I kind of curl that up too. So the throat kind of stays open. Kind of pull that up so it stays. I think I like the looks of that. So I'm just going to set this down. It'll dry some, and then we'll work it again after some of that moisture leaves, and then we'll top coat it with neat's foot oil, and we'll be done. Okay, it's all dry. About as stiff as a board right now. Flaps nice and stiff so it doesn't stay up on you. Gun holster's real good. Flaps pretty good. Like I said, it could be a little bit bigger down here, but I didn't want a bunch of extra either, so I think it turned out pretty good. I like the way it looks. There's the back side. So pull the gun out. Now it's time to top coat it with needs foot oil. So that's going to darken it just a little bit compared to the way just the walnut dye looks. But as you can see, it gets, the head dries a little different here and there, and it ends up looking really rustic and cool. So I'm going to put gloves on. That needs foot oil doesn't wash off too good. It's not supposed to. I just got an old piece of a t-shirt here. This rough out stuff, you have to be pretty liberal with your coverage. As you can tell, that walnut dye lightens up considerable from when you first put it on to when it's dry. This neat foot oil will soften that leather just a little bit, which will be making it just about perfect for wearing. Coverage there. A dowel rod, I'm going to just put my oily rag on it. Just kind of work that on the inside a couple of times. Too worried about the inside, but it doesn't hurt to the top coat in there too. Go through one more time. Rub it in, get it absorbed into the fibers just a little. It seems like it seals better that way. Make sure I got good consistent coverage as much as possible. And we'll wait till it dries, and then we'll take a final look at it. It'll lighten up quite a bit than what it is now once that oil dries. So, anyways, we'll see you when it's dry. Howdy folks, here's a look at the finished product as it would sit on a belt, as good as I can get it just holding the camera here. So pretty good cross draw, got good pant to it. Looks pretty good. So there's the finished holster. It has good I guess going back to where it belongs, I don't know how you would say that, but anyway, it got good flap on it, snaps functioning the way it should, holstering and reholstering is not perfect just because of that wedge right here in the gun, but doesn't go too bad either. So anyway, that's the finished product. I'm making a cavalry holster. The leather is still pretty stiff, but it did soften up a little with that neats fit oil. Really like the color on this one, the way it turned out. Using that walnut dye, you never really know what it's going to look like till you get done. This one turned out darker than previous experimental projects, but that's alright. I like it. I think it looks pretty good, and it's pretty close to historically accurate looking, I think. So that's my version of it, and thanks for watching.